Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our panel today. I'm so happy to have Reverend Linda and Linda Baker and Kathy Richman and Susan Jarboe joining me on our discussion and having you here to share with us this time. And so I want to open us in prayer before I go into the topic that I'd like to share. So take a moment and take a deep breath to allow your body to relax and feel, release the tension and any thoughts and anything so that you can be fully present in this time and in this moment. And we say, Dear God, Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings upon this panel who comes to share our thoughts and wisdom and the guidance that we know Spirit brings to us in enlightening our souls and our hearts. We thank you for this time together, and we thank you for those who join us to share and enrich each other's lives. We ask your continued blessings upon all of us. Amen. So today I would like to talk about an article from the Unity booklet. It's the basically Love, Healing, and Abundance, and it was written by Reverend Winifred Wilkinson Hausmann, and she and her husband ran basically were co-ministers of a Unity church in Cleveland, Ohio, and until she passed away, and she's authored many books, but she passed away in 2012, and this was this article that I'm sharing today is from the book God-Given Potential. So, and I'd like to read, it's a very short little piece. So, everybody loves somebody or something, sometime, somewhere, somehow. Love must play a part in the life of every individual. It is our nature to love. Love is a part of life and living, and without love, people perish. As those who are seeking to unfold all the faculties under God's direction, we can be guided into the right use and development of this power. As we let the divine interpretation of love unfold in our lives, we will find that it opens the doors to experiences of God's good above and beyond anything we have ever thought was possible. In spirit, love is the pure essence of being that binds together the whole human family. It is the harmonizing, healing, unifying, attracting power in the universe. In nature, it works as gravity. In divine mind, it is the idea of universal harmony and unity, that which binds together the whole of God's creation into one harmonious unit, so that even the tiniest movement of a person's finger displaces atoms out in space. And thoughts and feelings of our civilization combine to form a human race consciousness, which determines the future of all humankind. We are indissoluble, linked with each other in God's creation. And one place we can ever be separate from it is in our own thinking, feeling nature. Love is. Love continues to be, just as the sun continues to shine. Whether or not we know it is there, whether or not we can see it, whether or not we believe in it. On the level of mind, in the human plane, love or oneness, a sense of identification, is the power that draws people together as families and friends. Also in mind, at a higher level of development, it can be the inner light that enables us to see good in all persons, to identify with the higher nature of other individuals, even when they fail to express it. As Charles Fillmore explained, love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. It is not necessary for us to like all that we see in our world. We do not have to agree with the wrong things that people do. But regardless of appearances, we must love the Christ or God in all persons and all things. We must, because it is our nature to love, and because he first loved us. So it's God's eternal love that springs forth. And I found this article to be so meaningful because it is so easy to say, oh, I love this and I love that. But when you really feel that essence of love within yourself and recognizing that we all exist on this plane to love each other and to be there for each other, then there's a different feeling between vocalizing the love and really expressing that love and that sense of feeling. And I find in myself is that when I can just see that everyone is God's precious child, I can overlook the shortcomings and be able to love them for who they are or how they act. And I also, if they're behaving in a way that I don't agree with, I can send that loving that they find within them, that essence of God, and bring it forth. So I just find that it becomes a matter as if I'm in judgment, I'm pulling myself away from being that loving person that God has created us all to be. And it's about even loving the planet. You know, are we doing what we need to do to keep our planet, you know, good and healthy and being, you know, to continue on? Are we loving all humanity, whether they believe with us or don't believe with us? Is that, can I love and accept all that is going on around me? And can I know that God is working through all of that? And so it's when I have to remind myself to come into that loving essence of the divine spirit within, that I radiate this love out, and it comes back to me so much freer and openly, that it's like every moment is joyful because I'm in that loving essence. So I'm opening this up to anybody else in the panel that want to share their thoughts on this fact of about love is love, let there be love. So who would like to share? Yes, Kathy.
I'll share. You know, we've just come out of the holiday season, and you know, there's love is in the air, and all the music is about love and love one another, and it does bring it did bring all that out. I think that there's so many times when I'll be somewhere at a restaurant or something, and there's a little child, and to just go up to the child and, you know, oh, you have pretty shoes, or whatever, a little statement like that, and then you make this connection, and the next thing you know, they're looking over at you, and then they're showing you her pink fingernails or whatever. That to me is love, when you just randomly feel that sense inside of you. The other area is when people are doing bad things, and I have to, sometimes it's so easy, we all judge, and it's sometimes I have to just go back and say, visualize that person when they were first born, and they were born into absolute perfection. And unfortunately, life took them down some bad roads, and abandonment and crime and whatever. And they ended up not being that loving, nice person, but still within them is that loving person. And to be able to try and connect and have those feelings for those people, it's challenging, but it's helpful to just go back and say, you didn't start off this way. You still have the core essence of a loving being. So that's what I would like to add to your talk, Kathy.
Anyone else want to share?
Well, I'll go. This is one of my favorite topics is expressing love and being love in this situation. And for me, that's key. Love isn't something that I do. Love is who I am. And when I'm going into a situation that um, maybe I'm talking to somebody who is doing a behavior that I know is hurtful or not pleasant, and it might even be a family member, I try and ask myself, what would love do? What is the most loving thing in this situation? And sometimes the answer is kind of surprising. If one of my kids is acting out and saying things that are hateful or hurtful or nasty, and I ask myself, what is the most loving thing I can do in this situation? Oftentimes the answer is stay away from that person. And it's like, if they're saying these things, aren't they hurting? Isn't there something inside them that I should answer to? But for me, the most loving thing is not letting them say and do those things to me, especially if I'm like their mother or their wife or their grandmother, somebody that they're going to have to live with the rest of their lives. If I keep putting myself in a position where they're able to say these hurtful, nasty, awful things, they're going to have to make amends for that. They're going to have to live with what they've said. So the most loving thing I might do in a situation is to stay out of it altogether. The most loving thing I might do in a situation is to give somebody something that they want that I have, that, maybe I like it or I want it, but I can see it with love that whatever this possession is, it might mean more and do more in somebody else's hands than it would in mine. And of course, that's a different situation. But if I ask myself, what's the most loving thing I can do in this situation? It might be, sacrificing something that has meaning to me and giving it to someone who it could help even more than it could be to me. Um, when I look at it, not in how do I prove my point? How do I show them I'm right? How do I make them behave? Instead of how do I love not only them, but me best in this situation? What would love do? And it's not the most loving for another person. It's the most loving for all the people, including me, that are involved in this situation. So kind of went all over the place with that. I hope it made sense. Anybody else?
I was thinking, well, of a lot of things, but one thing is how good it feels when someone expresses love to us, and I'm not talking about romantic love or anything. What you said, Kathy, about children, and how they're born and then how they might turn out. I was in front of Unity one day. I was walking on the sidewalk to go into the building, and a couple walked towards me on the sidewalk, and they had a child who was about 3 or 4 years old. And when he saw me, he ran to me. And of course, I did what you would do, Kathy, talked about his fancy shoes or whatever it is, and his parents were grinning. And it felt so good because it was spontaneous. But I had hope for him too. There's so many dangers in the world, and we don't want our children, we want to protect all of our children. Another thing that I reflected on is one of my challenges is learning to love myself. And that could be a whole topic for a Monday, I think. And that is sometimes difficult. and how to love myself. What are the ways of loving oneself? That's a lot that I've been thinking about too.
Thank you, Kathy. It's a nourishing subject, speaking of love. I mean, my cup runneth over. There's just so many ways to love and feel love. It's a good subject. I thank you. I've been doing some Deepak Chopra meditations recently, and one of the subjects happens to be expressions of gratitude and how it returns to you as grace. But that to me is love. When it returns to grace, it is an expression of love. I see it and I feel it. And I just, as you were speaking and talking about it, I just was connecting so much with those meditations that I had to bring it up and tell you that. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to add to that? Okay. Well, then, to the audience, I say thank you for tuning in and listening to our discussion today. We invite you to leave your comments before moving on. We also welcome you to join our panel or offer topics to use that you feel are interesting. You can contact the Unity Church office, and they'll set you up on the panel with us. I'd like to thank Kathy, certainly for this loving message today, as well as Reverend Linda for preparing and presenting these tapes. And of course, the panel, your thoughts and participation on this great subject. We'd just be lost without your comments. And to the audience, we look forward to the next opportunity to share moments like this with you again. Thank you for building a friendship with us wherever you are. Remember, you can listen to this anytime, day or night, and we hope our messages bring you peace and reassurance and love when you need it. We're signing off now, leaving you with holy hugs. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.